Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. This is going to be a chicken coop remodel and cleanup, and I'm happy to and excited to share with you the tips and tricks that I have done along the way. But if you're returning users, thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate you guys. You help my views so much. So let's get into it. So the before picture you saw at the beginning of this video was before I painted the chicken coop black. I tried to get this recorded, but for some reason it did not record. I was so disappointed. But if you'll look at the outside of the pinning, you'll see that I repainted the outside black. This probably took me about a day and a half to complete, but it does make the coop look a lot more elegant. Plus, when you're looking at it from my kitchen window, you'll be able to see through the coop, unlike the gray that was on there previously. I think it turned out super well. I'm proud of the paint job. It took me a little while to do it, and I also painted my hands, so tip, wear gloves when you're painting and make sure the wind is not as high. But moving on to the netting on the top of this coop, you're never going to guess what I used. How many of y'all have seen the trampolines flipped over in people's yards and the netting is somewhat destroyed? So my kids had a trampoline and it got ripped and torn over the winter time. So I decided to repurpose it and use it as my chicken coop covering for the top of my chicken coop instead of buying chicken wire. It was super durable, and I'm going to show you guys how I done it. Okay, so you're going to want to call a couple of your friends. Typically you just need 2 of them, one to pull on one side, and then you can get this started on your own. Your goal is to drape it over each side. I left at least 4 to 5 inches on each side, and then you'll see me, I'll roll up the excess just a little bit in case down the road I have a tear or it starts to sag a little bit. I can pull this thing tight with zip ties. I will have these linked in my Amazon storefront and in the description box below. you can literally get a pack of 500 for like $15. Then whatever excess you have, you're just going to trim that off. But basically you want to drape it from one side to the other, zip tie it, and pull it as tight as you possibly can. The zip ties that I use have pointy ends on it, so it's very easy to poke a hole through it and zip tie it to the top of your railing or your fence or your chicken coop. It's also going to provide shade for your chickens and not make it as hot in there. I noticed that after I put it up. The rain's going to be able to fall through and you won't have to worry about it sagging. And then I'm going to move on to showing you how I weaved and basically sewed the pieces together, and all I did was cut those little snaps off. Okay, so moving on to attaching this to the side of your barn or your coop or whatever you're using. This barn has probably seen many years of livestock animals. This was on my property when I first moved in, and you can tell it's a little old, it's a little rundown, but it works. So we're not going to replace it just now. It does need a new roof, but it doesn't leak, it's just rusty. So what you're going to do is you're going to put screws on the side of your barn or your chicken coop or whatever you're using, and you're going to attach that netting to your barn to keep it flush out of the way of the gutter and the rain and stuff to keep it from falling down. And then you're going to pull everything tight. So while I'm working on this, hubby is entertaining the little one. You'll see her come in and out of the screen. She likes to be his little helper and she loves to learn new projects and stuff. So they're working on fixing up a chicken coop hen laying area. That way I can be able to pull my eggs from the outside of the barn instead of the inside so that they have a place to lay them. I don't know exactly what those are called, but he decided to build me a 2-block place where the hens can go and lay their eggs. this part right here, I just wanted to get a close-up shot of the zip ties and how I place them. I probably put about 5 to 4 inches in between each zip tie. I wanted this to be really close together so that it would be more sturdier in the long run. And it's okay if you have a little extra hanging over. We're just going to trim that piece off. If I was going to do this over again though, I probably would have brought that closer to the edge so that I didn't have to trim that much off. Okay, so moving on to the middle and weaving this trampoline net together. I think this was an awesome idea, and it's a money-saving tip. But basically, whenever you go to wrap this around each side, make sure that you're overlapping it about 2 to 3 inches so that you'll be able to pinch those two ends together. And I've already done some of them so you can see some of them hanging down. So basically what I'm doing is I'm rolling those two pieces together, and then I'm poking a hole through each side as if you were sewing, you know, a piece of garment together. You're going to poke it through on each side so that it brings that fold together and it doesn't have any gaps. Again, on this, I put these like 5 to 6 inches apart because I didn't want any kind of gapping or holes. It turned out super well. Also, give your time patience and just take your time on this part. It will take you a little bit, but it's so worth it because the amount of shade it provided inside my chicken coop was amazing. And let me know in the comments what y'all think about this technique, and if it was helpful to you guys. I would love to know and see your projects that you guys come with. Okay, so next I just went down through here and cut all of these ties with a cutter. Make sure you pull these really tight because you want this to be as seamless as possible. And then move on and do it to the second layer and continue on down however big your coop is. Okay, for this next part, I only did half with the trampoline mesh because I wanted some shade back there. But for the next part, I'm going to have this linked in the description box below so you guys can find it. Just click the link, it'll take you straight to it. But what I did is, it is a chicken coop mesh, and it's kind of like plastic. It's real flimsy, but it still does the job. It's kind of like wire, but it's a little bit more forgivable, and it's easy to tack on with this mesh lining that I have on here, and that's what I use to put over the top. Okay, so next I drape it over the other side and pull it as tight as I can, and then continue doing the process all the way down to the end. And then I do the inside the same way I did the mesh so that I can tie them both together. It was a simple, easy process. I've almost completed the chicken coop. Also, I forgot to mention that instead of using traditional, chicken wire, these are chain link fences that I got a couple of years ago. I think I got them off of Market Facebook Place. It was very cheap and inexpensive, and that's what this DIY is about. Doing it in a budget and using what we've got already on hand. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, just perfect for you. After all, it is a chicken coop. We do collect eggs, and some of them can be very nasty, but it helps keep my chicken coop clean, and it makes it look elegant and so nice looking out the back porch at this. I'm super happy I had time to finish this project and bring you guys along with me. here is where I'm giving you a close-up of where I tied all the mesh and the chicken wire together. It kind of looks woven, but how I clamped it together and made it all into one seamless row. Happy chickens make a happy coop.
Shoo! Now that took me a lot longer than it did for you guys to watch this video, but I'm super proud of it because it's something that I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time. I think the black makes this coop look a lot more elegant, and remember, it don't have to be Pinterest perfect, it just has to work for you. So don't get discouraged when you see all these really nice chicken coops. Use what you've got. As you can tell in the voiceovers, As you can tell from the voiceovers, most of the materials I used was all of my leftover scraps, like the plywood, the trampoline, and a bunch of zip ties. I will have all of this stuff linked below for you guys so that you guys can shop them. And yes, you can buy big bags of zip ties. Make sure they're heavy duty. I will have them linked in the description box below so you guys can shop some of those. So the chicken coop that I gather my eggs from, you guys stay tuned because y'all know I love to do memorials and painting things. If you haven't seen my toddler DIY room where I painted this huge mural of this unicorn on there, go back in the videos before and go watch that vlog. It's worth the watch. Okay, so that concludes the vlog for this week. If you guys stay tuned this far, please like and subscribe. It does help my channel out if it helped you. I try to do budget-friendly chicken coop ideas, but how did you like my trampoline netting trick? I thought that was pretty cool. But please like and subscribe. I try to upload videos once a week so that you guys can be notified for the new ones. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see y'all next time.